Welcome back to the Social Club. This week has seen Neymar linked with a potential 100. Let me get this right. 100. It's not written on that piece of paper. 173 million pound move to Manchester United. Put this alongside the apparent £100 million move for Antoine Griezmann and the fact that Zlatan Ibrahimovic could be signing a new contract extension as well, leads us into a world where potentially Man United could have that as their front three kicking off the 17th.
173.
80. Yeah, I think it's like 200 million euros or something. I think it was, yeah.
In what world?
I know. Neymar's mad though, isn't he? He's like, I would. That's ludicrous money. I think that's a bit too big of a jump up in terms of the world transfer record. But no. But
really, Paul?
No. But yeah. But this is what Neymar's been this his whole career, hasn't he? You know, he was playing for. Was it Santos? He was at in Brazil. He was fine, wasn't he? And he was agreed. This multi-mega million deal was agreed like a year or so before he even joined, etc. I don't get him, but he is. I don't get him.
I just don't get him.
I don't get Neymar. He's good. He's very.
He's the third best player for Barcelona, and he's gonna. And Man United
the first two aren't that good, though.
173 million.
Yeah.
So what?
For a start, is this? I mean,
you would say is this bullshit? I could say yes.
Where Man United are going to spend £275 million on two players
every day.
But is it outside? But is it totally outside the realms of possibility?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So
listen, don't get me wrong. I would come in my pants if I signed him. Like, absolutely, for whatever money, I don't care. But it's never going to happen.
So
exactly.
It's
on the internet, so it must be true. Every day I get Twitter feed of this bullshit. But some Mourinho's second cousin, third removed, has been in Barcelona, so we're saying Neymar tomorrow. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's a load of nonsense. Like,
yeah.
Whenever I see it actually happen.
Well, it's been picked up all over. But ESPN put at it, and then it's been picked up subsequently by everyone since. Like, and look, I'm not suggesting that it's an absolute nailed on thing, but the Neymar something, and a decision will have to be made over Neymar soon. I think.
With Barca, you mean?
Yeah. Because what?
I'll pay me tax.
Well, that's his decision to make. But this is inevitably Barcelona have these decisions to make. They've got the one guy who's the top dog, isn't it? But this happened to Ronaldinho in the past, didn't it? Everyone was. I think people were shocked when Ronaldinho was moved on at the age that he was moved on. But then it was clear to them by this point Messi was ready to take on the mantle, and they weren't going to spend ludicrous money on Ronaldinho because as much as Barcelona spend big dough, they're not a bottomless pit. They're not like Real are they, where they just get the king to go. Nah, you're fine.
There you go.
So a decision will be made on Neymar one way or the other in the next couple of seasons.
They've got the big issue of actually having three players on their wages who are going to try and outcompete each other. Like that's imagine having that. The three of the best players in the world, and one of them signs a contract. So the next one wants, well, I want more money than. You wonder where the hierarchy sits, whether the other two are comfortable with Messi. I mean, you would be comfortable with Messi, but Suarez and Neymar, they must be thinking, well, I'm worth more than him, or I'm worth more than him.
Well, this is the thing. Neymar's gone from being the young kid, to the point where he's look in terms of his return, he's not there yet, is he? But he's not so far.
But he's the natural successor to Messi rather than Suarez.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll try and keep him sweet for when the day comes where Messi starts.
And recently he's been one thing with Neymar that I always found that he was really inconsistent. One game he'll be absolutely amazing, next game he'll be like lost almost. But recently he's been there every game.
He's coming into the prime of his career now, and that's the point. That there'll be clubs, whoever has got the bottomless funds, your Man Cities, your Man United, your Chelseas will be going, pay you whatever you want, mate. Come and be the main man. Come and earn 500 grand a week because they'll pay. Because that's the way the footy's.
Yeah, I think Barcelona could be quite smart if it's on 173 million pounds. Barcelona sell, absolutely sell, because they back themselves to replace him. And it's that simple, really.
Deulofeu. Well, he's having a decent loan spell at AC, isn't he? But it
only
makes sense.
The thing about Neymar as well is what's sort of turned in his favour as well is form for Brazil. He's excellent for Brazil, and he's like a proper leader for them as well. He does it for Brazil, whereas Messi's been in and out for Argentina. I know that doesn't really make a difference, but that shows that he's got the characteristics to be the main man.
Well, so, he had that kind of foisted upon him, didn't he?
Yeah, but he took it. But how many have though? Loads have had that on him, and he's took it. And you wonder, see, that could be the reason why he'd leave, but then that could also be the reason he stays, knowing knowing he's part of a bigger thing, and he will be the success. Does he want to be going somewhere like Chelsea and be like, I'm the number one, or Man United or whatever, and be like, I'm the number one, but is this the club I want to be number one at? Yeah. Or is he willing to maybe buy this time, 2 or 3 years, and suddenly become...
Well, he's like Prince Charles, isn't he? You know, he's one of them where he's probably thinking like, how old am I going to be by the time that Messi's too old to be as good as he's going to get?
He's definitely getting passed over, lad.
He's Will Riker on the Enterprise. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, he's not the young whippersnapper he was.
He's get passed over.
He's an old fat man with a beard, which I can relate to.
Well, you know, version, isn't he?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Going to get passed over for a lad who's probably not even his
dad. Not even reckoned.
Not even sure if he's his dad or not.
Yeah. Well, that's one of them is defo, right? The other one's a different story for a different day and probably a different channel. Harry looks like someone else.
He does look like someone else, doesn't he?
But anyway,
but then you know,
but that's the thing.
Star Trek TV now.
Not me.
Yeah, no, not Star Trek. We're talking about the Royals.
Oh, the Royals now again.
But then again,
Princess Diamond,
you know, and the other thing is, William will want to get in to find out who really killed his man. So
it's true.
That's all I'm saying.
But potentially, like I say, I think Man United will. I think Man United will be in the conversation.
I personally think Man United will have only one, like marquee signing this year, whether it's Griezmann or Neymar or anyone else for that matter. They'll have one.
If you had to choose,
don't know. I don't think I could choose.
I'd have Griezmann at the moment.
You'd want Griezmann
just because I think.
But Neymar,
I know Neymar's amazing. It's not necessarily down to how good the players are. I just think Griezmann fits into. I mean, he's playing for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
He fits into. He's willing to work his bollocks off. Yeah. And actually, in the last 3 or 4 years, he's gone from being like a good player to like a proper top player now.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think it'd be very hard to choose. Yeah, I'm a dickhead. Fucking. Leave your comments below of how much I'm a dickhead I am, no doubt. But
I think they've already done
it's already there. But it's so hard to choose. There's both of them have.
I've just chosen, so it wasn't that hard.
That's right, then, sound.
Yeah,
I'll pick.
I think
Griezmann learns off Zlatan. You get him in. I don't think...
There's no guarantee Ibrahimovic is even going to be there next year.
No,
United are the kind of club, though. United are the club who think like that, though. They're the kind of club who think, well, we'll have Griezmann this summer, and then we'll have Neymar next summer.
I think so much of it's interesting because I would like to say so much of this dependent on Champions League football, but no Champions League football on offer last summer, and it didn't stop Pogba and Ibrahimovic agreeing to come.
It's fucking money talks, doesn't it?
But this is the thing, isn't it? I wonder how long would this be Man United? If Man United don't get into the top 4, is this their last big big spin?
No, they get too much money for that.
They're a cash cow. And they have to support.
Well, yeah, but you say cash cow, but there comes a point where players. Paul Pogba, I'm sorry, no, but Paul Pogba, as an example, doesn't stick around at Man United for 5 seasons of Europa
He'll
League.
do what Adidas tells him to fucking do.
Well, yeah, maybe. Whatever storms he raps about, he'll do that. Like.
I think Man United have to buy players, though, to almost, if they don't have Champions League, because it's just as important to make those headlines by not having Champions League football. You know, you've got to keep yourself relevant. That's just club, as important to sponsors. You know, if you're not, there's no point not being in tournaments and being, being quiet about it. You've got to sell these, and that's what Man United do pretty well. If they haven't got Champions League to shout about, then they'll shout about having Pogba or Griezmann.
But I do wonder how sustainable it is, whether Man United, how much money they've got or not, is how many players you can afford to have on 300, 400, whatever grand a week, when there will come a point where there will be there will come a reckoning, because no club can afford to keep that.
What you don't know is Jesse Lingard's only on £750 a week, so it's
the trade. Every penny.
It's the trade-off, isn't it?
For experience. He's on a free internship, isn't he? Like?
So terrible, Jesse Lingard.
But yeah, no, it is a very interesting situation, and it will. Because of the performance last summer, it wouldn't shock me to see Man United go out and do something that
both of them, though? Do you think
I think
it's a lot desperate.
I think Griezmann's nailed on. Listen, they'll always have the ICC trophy.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? That's the big one everyone wants now. That's the big one everyone wants. Yeah. Playing Manchester derbies in fucking Denver or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, let us know your thoughts on that. I mean, for the start, would any of these moves be predicated around Man United getting into the top 4, or can they continue to throw money at the problem? And would that be Neymar, Griezmann and Zlatan? Would there be a better front 3 in world football than that if those players were to complete transfers this summer? Let us know in the comments below. Yeah?
Who?
Messi,
Depends who
Delafeu,
Barcelona
and Suarez. There you go.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Check back later this week.
Jesse Lingard in the swap deal.
We're going to be answering your questions on Ask the Club. That's coming out on Tuesday. And on the Friday as well, we're going to be doing yet another of our best 11 videos. I genuinely can't remember what part we're up to at this point, but it's going to be sensational. One way or the other.
Second strikers.
Strikers.
Old strikers.
Slightly older strikers. Tune in for that.
Post-30s.
Yeah, absolutely. Strikers from the start of the
Can he still
Premier
make it for England?
League till the mid-noughties. Subscribe, watch the video.
Those
and
videos on Sky
interact.
that Richard Key still narrates.
Yeah.